guys, today we're going to talk about the real number system, which is all rational and irrational numbers. Up until this point, all of your education has really been focused around what a rational number is. Well, a rational number is pretty much any number that can end up being written like a fraction, even if that fraction is put over 1. So irrational, let's just start there because it's its whole own other little set. Irrational would be numbers like pi, that you learned about with circles, a decimal that goes on and on forever and never repeats, or the square root of a number that's going to give you a decimal that goes on and on forever and never repeats. So it's any number that cannot be written like a fraction. Your decimal does not repeat and it does not terminate. Remember, the word terminate means it doesn't stop. So with rational numbers, we need to start way down here with our first section of rational numbers, which are called natural numbers or counting numbers. These are the numbers that you would have learned when you're a lot smaller, like when you start counting with your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. It's all your positive whole numbers, pretty much. Whole numbers would have been like numbers you learned about when you got to school. Well, in kindergarten, you know there's a 0. You know there's a 1, a 2, a 3. So it's 0 in all your positive whole numbers, or 0 in all your natural numbers, your counting numbers. The only difference between natural numbers and whole numbers is the 0. Our next section is integers. Integers you started talking about around 6th grade. So now we've thrown in positive numbers, we've got zeros and some negatives, but we don't talk about negative fractions, negative decimals, nothing like that. It's 0, your natural numbers, and their opposites. So it's 1, it's -1. It's 3, it's -3. All the way in both directions. Rational numbers takes into account all of these. And if you'll notice, all of our boxes are kind of building upon each other. Because natural numbers, then you go to whole, and whole numbers are whole numbers and natural numbers together. Integers include whole numbers and natural numbers. Rational numbers are all your integers, all your whole numbers, and all your natural numbers, plus any numbers that can be written like a fraction, or a decimal that repeats, or a decimal that terminates, or perfect squares, or perfect cubes. So all of those are written back up here for us. So all of our whole numbers, integers, and natural numbers. I wrote all of those numbers back out for you as an example. It's anything that can be written like a fraction. No matter if it's a normal fraction, like you're used to seeing, 2/3, a negative version of the fraction, a mixed number, an improper fraction. They can all be written like a fraction, so they're still rational. It includes all your decimals that repeat. And remember, this line above the 3 or above the 145 means that part of that number repeats. It's decimals that terminate or stop or end. 0.2. 0.2 does not go on any farther. It's all your perfect squares and perfect cubes that we learned about last year. So our big thing today is being able to take this chart and decide, is a number rational? Is it irrational? That's your first choice. If it is rational, is it a natural number, an integer, a whole number, or just a rational number? So those are your big topics for today, is just dividing out what kind of number are we looking at.